when it comes to crime and violent crime, Nashville's not immune to violent crime, just like any big city in the world.
All cars, the 27-year-old female has been shot.
But you have to come up with a roadmap.
Even with all these horrible crimes we've been hearing about, these numbers I have right here where they show the majority of Nashville crimes are going down.
Hey, Chad.
Chad, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for having us down. Maybe if you could tell me a bit more about what you do and about your role, your day-to-day role.
I've been on Nashville as a police officer since 1998. Started in patrol for a couple of years, then went in and started investigating as a detective in 2004 and 5, armed robberies and homicides. The last 18 years, or coming up on it, I've been a digital forensic examiner in our city. Nashville, if you read the papers, watch the news, I mean, the media has classified it as the it city. It's kind of becoming the Southeast United States hub for entertainment, which is great. Right now, I think there's about 720 to 750,000 residents that live in the city, but any given day, well over 1 million. So we're protecting a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, tell me a bit more about Metro Nashville Police Department. Like what's their big focus? What do they really care about, and what are they trying to do in the community?
The major focus is to marry this relationship and build this trust between the community and the police department and its officers. We've always had a progressive vision, a forward-thinking police department. And obviously that didn't stop with Chief Drake. I mean, he has implemented these precision policing applications to target violent crime, and complete buy-in with digital forensics because it's so important. So we want to turn that, and we have turned that in the last decade or two, into doing precision analysis, right? When we're dealing with violent crime, crimes against children and that sort of thing. But probably more than anything, Jad, is just that relationship building with the police department and building that trust with the community.
The future of policing, I think, is highly going to be focused on new technology.
Every single person nowadays leaves a digital footprint behind, and digital forensics is the avenue. It probably is the most crucial piece of evidence you can have in an investigation, especially early on.
The goal for us as a department will be to keep up with the technology that's coming out these days.
Chad, this is a really impressive lab. Do you mind telling me a bit more about it and how you got to this point?
I mean, like a lot of police departments, we started in a closet with 2 workstations, a small budget. It's so important for your leaders to understand the value of digital forensics, right? I mean, we don't have an unlimited budget by any means, but we've built that trust relationship with them.
Yeah, it's so important to every case, it seems, to have
it's
that digital evidence.
Every crime, a suspect or witness or the victim usually has a computer in their pocket, the mobile phone. Maybe you see a text message that talks about a crime where someone has thrown their clothes in a dumpster. It's happened. We see that text message before the garbage truck comes, and we can go to that location and find those bloody clothes. You know, and it's a great feeling because I worked homicides and robberies for a long time, and you take that caseload with you at home. I may get paid by the government in Nashville, right? Nashville government. But I work for those crime victims. That's who I work for.
Yeah.
We really are a great police department. We're extremely forward-thinking. Our community policing model is one of the best, and I think that is important in police work.
One of the things that keeps me going and helping deal with the difficult jobs is when you solve that case. When you make that phone call to a family and say, hey, we got them. And to hear that sigh of relief from their loved ones, you know what you're doing is making a difference in society, and it's making a difference in their life. So that's the biggest thing. We're doing everything we can to solve these cases.
Because it doesn't stop after we get an arrest, it stops after we get a conviction.
So in your 16 years, how have you seen things change in relation to digital forensics, especially related to violent crimes?
When I came in, there were very few cases that had digital forensics. Most of our cases were about DNA. It was all physical evidence. So now I feel like every single case is a case where I need to go meet with SISU and our digital forensics experts.
Do you have any case examples you could share that where digital evidence has come into play and helped?
We had a case where we had a nurse here in Nashville that was murdered in her apartment. That suspect ended up having a cell phone. We found several pieces of evidence from the phone that tied him to the murder, but there was nothing extremely specific. Hours after the murder, he had actually done a Google search for pawn shop. They found that yes, he had gone, but they were able to pull the video surveillance from when he was in the store. You could see his exact clothing that matched the grainy surveillance video that we had from the incident. What was extremely critical in that case is that that pawn shop was closing the very next week. If they had waited even 2 days, that pawn shop would have not existed, that surveillance video would have not have been there, and that was really critical identification evidence in that homicide case that we were very fortunate to get a guilty verdict from the jury.
Getting to that evidence quickly is so critical.
The only thing that I don't want to happen in one of my cases is for suspects to not have cell phones.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah, makes sense.
My goal, obviously, is to bring justice to families. And we're seeing that younger and younger kids are being killed, and it's starting earlier and earlier.
Most of my cases involve child abuse content. I can't imagine being able to do my job without having a forensic lab and the ability to bring a case to them and get it turned around fairly quickly if I need to.
Good examiners, good tools. That's the only way that you can do it. That's the only way. In fact, we rely on companies like Magnet to provide and produce those tools for us.
It doesn't matter how the case started or all the research or search warrants, interviews, it's all going to come back to the digital forensics that's found on the devices that are connected to the case. So without that, we have nothing.
We need to get to a point where command staff, just like our command staff in Nashville, they understand the value of what we're doing in here.
What keeps you going? What makes all of this work then?
Being able to tell families that the man or woman that took their loved one is off the streets, bringing them just a tiny piece of closure.